Well, good evening, everybody. For folks who are able to watch, this is my first try at a members only stream, so I'm not even sure anybody's even watching at this point. I don't have a whole lot of members on the channel. Trying to give some added value to that. A couple of things that I have learned setting up the members only stream is that the thing that we use to put the comments from the chat on the actual stream, that doesn't work on members only streams. It has to be fully public, which is kind of a bummer, but well. And I'll be making this live for everybody probably tomorrow if I can remember to do it. Like I said, just trying to give some value for the members. I am not going to be making my regular videos. So if I do like an interview with a big developer or something, that is not ever going to be a members only stream. That just seems stupid and really mean to people. But this is just a way to give some extra value to members for a little bit. They can be part of the live chat, and then I'll bring it up for everybody later, and everybody can do their comments as usual. But this is Supervember. I do want to shout out again to my friend John Fredericks, who did the logo for Supervember. I handed him the DM Tales logo and said, hey, can you give this thing arms and legs and a cape? And he right away just went and did it, which is awesome. And this actually might be my last Supervember video because Thanksgiving is next week, and finding time to do everything that I have to do for my normal day job with the little one in half days and me having a short week and a funeral on Monday, it's going to be a little bit rough. So we'll see if I can get through something and bring something else out before the end of Supervember, but I wanted to do this beforehand because Sentinel Comics RPG is really, really cool. It got my brain going. It really made me think about, wow, how would this play? And the character creation process is involved. It is multi-step, and some folks might find it a little bit intimidating. As soon as you get into the lingo of the game, it begins to make sense. The problem is that there's a lot of page flipping. So what I've got set up is I've got a fillable sheet set up. I'm going to put it here that I'll be filling out as we go through. And I've also got the PDF of the book over here, although I'm not going to be showing that constantly because I don't want to get a copyright strike. This is the general character creation process. I might try to like zoom into the different things that I'm doing just so the whole page is not going. I don't want to tick off Greater Than Games trying to advertise their game. But I want to go through the process, and I'll find the dice that I have to add to stuff, and I'll put that on the sheet. You can see that when I copy text over, you'll be able to see that too. So that is what we're doing with this. And I've also got my handy dandy dice tray set up, which does not have my face on it. I did just check, it does have my audio. So that's what we're going to be doing. Should be a fun time. I did do the character creation process a little bit earlier today just to see how it works. I had a couple things fall through the cracks because, again, I'm learning the process. Principles were one of the things that I just missed. So that was something I had to go back and fill out. But we'll figure that out as we go through. And I'm going to go over to the book here. And what you can see is that to begin, you're going to roll 2d10s, and you're going to use one of the two tens you just rolled, or by adding them together, you're going to select a background from the background table. So I'm going to go to my dice tray, and we're going to roll 2d10s. Oh, it does help to actually go to the actual application and not the window in OBS. So here's 1d10, and there's 2d10, and the dice go together. So I've got a 2 and a 6. So I can either use a 2, a 6, or an 8 on the backgrounds table. So I'm going to go to my backgrounds table really quick. There we go. So a 2 or an 8 or a 6. So a 2 is a blank slate, which basically means, I'll go to my camera. Blank slate basically means that you are essentially had your identity wiped, and you are just coming out of wherever you were, and you don't know who you are, where you were from, or how this happened to you, or how you got these powers. So that's kind of a cool thing to play. 6 is that you were former law enforcement or even current law enforcement. So you've got things like close combat or criminal underworld info, and you also from your background get one of your core principles. So if you're a blank slate, it's identities because you don't know who you are. If it's law enforcement, is responsibility. There's actually categories. There's principles that come from that. And then an 8 is tragic. I don't think I can go with the tragic at this point. I've had way too much tragedy. So I'm going to pick blank slate, and we can do any mental or physical quality. That's kind of nice. I'm going to go back here. And you get to go any mental or physical quality. I think I can do one of those. So that'll be fun. So first off, I'm going to go to my sheet. I've got way too many windows open right now. And I'm going to scroll down to background, blank slate. And I'm just going to make sure that I have my thing correct. Background, blank slate, any mental or physical. So I get to do any mental or physical, and I assign a D10 and a D8 to 2 of those qualities. Okay, so D8 and D10 to 2 of those qualities. Wow, having a PDF that is hyperlinked is really, really helpful with this. So any mental or physical with a D10 and a D8. So I always like, for mental, you know what, I'm going to do investigation, just because investigation is kind of a cool thing for a blank slate because they're trying to figure out who they are. So we'll go here, and that's a quality. So we're going to go investigation. And I'll make that the D8. There we go. And any physical. So let's see here. Do I want to go with... I want to do ranged combat. Who knows where this person was from? And we'll make the D10. Okay. Let's go back and look at my blank slate really quick. So I get to choose an identity principle, pages 135 to 137. I'll do that really quick. So identity principles are one of your core principles of your character. They do have an impact on your game, give you a green level action or ability. And so what do I want to do for my identity principles? So I've got principle of ambition, principle of amnesia, detachment, discovery, levity, loner, nomad, or peace. I'm going to do discovery, I think. So here's the thing as I try to figure out where my mouse is. Principle of discovery. So during roleplay, you are detached from emotional situation. No, that's a detachment. Excuse me. During roleplay, you are eager to learn new things at any cost. You can rattle off data about newly discovered concepts and idea. If anybody's ever seen the John Doe TV show that lasted a season, that's kind of like what it is. So I'm just going to paste that there. Yay. Awesome. And I hate that PDFs do not have word wrap. And then it's going to actually have your minor twist and your major twist for this. Again, I'm trying to figure out where my mouse is. So a minor twist is always going to be presented as a question. Which hero or supporting character have you just alienated with your distant behavior? So I guess I'm being a little bit of edgelordy. And then a major one is, so each principle has a major and a minor. Major twist is, how have you withdrawn from your current situation to cope? I understand that entirely. And also you're going to get a green ability from this, from your principle. So let's see what I got over here. Green principle of discovery. I was doing detachment. Dang it, I did the wrong ones. Oh, well, now I'm doing principle of detachment. No, I gotta go fix the two things. Give me a second here. This is the problem when you're going through your so many different pages. You forget which ones you're doing. People are probably at home going, you did the wrong one. So what discovery causes you to reconsider what you are doing? Oh, I like that. I don't know why I cannot remember where my mouse is. There we go. And then the major twist is, what new discovery must you keep hidden at all costs? Ooh, that would be fun. All right, so I'll put that in. So I'm not an edgelord. That makes me happy. Of course, I screwed that up too. This is what happens when you're trying to do something for the first time. Boom. And I gotta get my role play back. You can all tell me in chat later how terrible I was at this. I give you permission, because I'm doing this on the fly because my Thursday night group is not playing. I just thought I would try something new. All right, so there's the role play. You're eager to learn new things you can rattle off data about newly discovered concepts and ideas. Yay. Okay, that's awesome. All right, now I have this green ability from the principle of discovery. Yay. All right. And the green ability, one of the things, fortunately, they did not do a good job with the fonts here. I have to reduce this font block to 9 in order to get 2 lines in. But it's going to be an action. That's what the A stands for there. And where's my mouse? There it is. I'll paste this in. I hope. I don't know if it's got all the text or not. I might have to type it. When you're in the forefront making a discovery, it did not copy that text. A discovery or invention, and take an overcome action, use your max die. And all your allies get a hero point. That's kind of cool, actually. Very nice. All right. So that is step 1, which was longer because I messed up. All right. So step 2, roll the dice you gain from your background by select a power source. So the background was blank slate. So I get to roll a 10, an 8, and an 8 for power source selection. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to clear this. Go to my dice tray, a 10, an 8, and an 8. 10, 8, 8. Now I can use any 2 of these dice or any 1 of these dice. So I can do a 4, a 5. I can do a 12 or a 9 or a 4, 8, or a 1. So that's actually really kind of fun. So I'm looking at power sources here. So I can do 1, which is accident. That's kind of the classic, right? You got bit by the radioactive spider. I can do an 8, which is a powered suit, Iron Man type. A 4, which is experimentation. So you got a signature weapon, any athletic, elementary, intellectual mobility, or self-control. 12, artificial being, or a 5. That would be mystical, or 9, radiation. I don't want to be the Hulk. I think I want to go with accident. So I'm going to go accident here. So I'm going to go back over to my sheet. This is so much fun. I have so many windows open at this point. And I'm going to go in my power source. I'm going to go accident. Now, your power source is going to give you certain abilities. You'll have a choice, and you'll have your next dice to roll for your archetype selection. It's also going to give you some of your powers that you can pick from. So I have assigned all the dice you rolled at the end of the background step. So I have a 10, an 8, and an 8 to assign. And where's my mouse? There it is. I can select anything from the athletic powers category, from the elemental powers category, the intellectual powers category, the materials powers category, the psychic powers, or the self-control powers. So I am thinking that this guy was going to be more intellectual and more self-control. But I think I'm going to go with intellectual powers because he only gets one. To any of the following powers, select from the intellectual powers category. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So let's see what the intellectual powers are. So I got, oh no, I can do 3 because I got a 10, an 8, and 8. So I can do 3. So I'm going to go intellectual. I am going to go, presence, lightning calculator. So I can calculate stuff really quick. I kind of like that. I'll do that. So lightning calculator. And I'll do a D8 in that. Is that an action? I don't know. Where's my powers? Powers. There we go. Intellectual. Lightning calculator. You can perform intense feats of mathematics in your head in the blink of an eye. Awesome. Oh, that's not an ability. I putting this in the wrong spot. There we go. This is what happens when you start doing something new and you aren't paying attention to what you're doing because you have 14 things open. So I did that. Now I got a D8 and a D10 to go through. So I can do any... Where's my accident power source? There we go. I can do any athletic, any elemental. Ooh, let's do an elemental energy, shall we? Why not, right? Elemental energy. Let's do... Oh, sonic. Why? That sounds fun. We'll do a sonic power. We'll do that as a D8. And accident, I can do intellectual materials. So he's got sonic and materials. That might play off nicely together. So I'm going to do that. All right. Materials. There we go. Materials are metal, plant, stone, toxic, transmutation. How about that because he can manipulate sound so much, he does transmutation as a D10. Like that's really his. Actually, we're going to make that a D8 and we're going to make Sonic the D10. Yeah. I am a little strange. So I did that. Let's go back to the power source now. We're going to have abilities to do. So I can choose 2 yellow abilities, each using a different power. So, and here, let me put the book up really quick. I'll let you at least, because it's the only thing that's on here. So I can do area alteration, boost or hinder any number of targets using power using your max die. That's kind of nice. So that's a boost or hinder. Inflict, I can attack using the power, hinder that same target using your min die. I think I might do that with a Sonic. Reflexive burst is when your personal zone changes, attack all close enemy targets by rolling your single power die. Oh, that would be fun with transmutation, wouldn't it? Like it just sends out a burst of transmutive energy. That was kind of cool. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to bring my yellow abilities up here, and now I am working the right thing. I will do inflict. It helps to have a that is a action. Let me copy out my text here. Using your min die. Here we go. And I'm going to do that with Sonic. Because why not? Now, this icon over here is where you would put whether or not it's like a boost, a hinder, or an attack. So I'll have to draw those in a little bit later. And then I think we're going to do reflexive burst. Just because I think it's nice. And that's a reaction. And I'm going to turn this to 9 points so I can get all the text in. By rolling, and we're going to do the transmutive. There we go. By the single transmutation die. That's kind of fun. Then you're going to get a green ability. I can choose one of them. I scrolled through the whole thing. So ambush awareness, change in circumstances, or immunity. Huh. I kind of like that. When you change general, I like immunity. Maybe because they're so sonic based, they are immune to sound damage. I think that's actually kind of cool. And that's an inherent ability. It's always on. So we're going to put that up in green. One of the interesting things about the way, let me put my main camera on. So one of the interesting things in the way that this character development process works is that you essentially build the narrative of the character as you go through. So as you're trying to think about how all these things go together, you're trying to weave it together, which is something that I actually really like, because already I'm thinking about how this character would actually play. There we go. Does not take damage from sonic energy. That's kind of fun. All right, so I've got my D8, my D10, and my 2 D8s. I've got my green ability. I've got my 2 yellow abilities, and now it says roll a 12 and a 6 for archetype selection. Page 73, archetype selection. 12 and a, what did I say? I can't remember anything. This is where having people in chat would be really, 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 really helpful. A 12 and a 6. Thank you. Let's bring those dice up. Clear this out. Oh, again, it helps to be clicking on the actual application and not the OBS window. Why is it not clearing the dice? A 12 and a 6. I did at least remember the dice this time. So again, I can use a 6, a 12, or an 18. So I'm looking at I'm not bringing this page up because this is a lot of details. So I can use a 6, a 12, or an 18. So I can do close quarters combat, not really his style. 12 psychic. Any psychic power is required. Any intellectual, materials, psychic, or self-control power. That might work. Or 18. Reality shaper. Oh, I think we're doing that because I already have transmutation. And I think somehow his sonic powers help reshape reality. So I think that's what we're going to be doing here. So I'm going to go back to my sheet. There we go. Again, Wes, don't click on the OBS thing. And we're going to go to archetype. And I said, what did I say? Reality shaper. There we go. So assign one or more of the dice you rolled at the end of the power source step to any of these powers. Density control, intangibility, invisibility, speed, teleportation, transmutation. Select from intellectual powers, psychic powers, or technological powers. So I got a 12 and a 6. So I think I'm going to do 6 for teleportation. Somehow he uses sound and transmutation to like alter reality and send him places. I like this concept. So we'll put teleportation in. D6. And now I get a D12. Information, so I can do qualities, which are going to add to my dice pool options, and I could do a 12 for that, which would be really, really nice. So I think we're going to do the mental qualities category. So mental qualities: alertness, conviction, creativity, investigation, or self-discipline. I already have investigation and ranged combat. So he's not really, he's a blank slate, so he doesn't have conviction. Maybe he is alert. He's got a 12 alertness, and that might be because he's a blank slate and he doesn't know where he's from, so he's really amped out up and always looking for what's going on. So I didn't automatically do like mid max and put like all his powers are a D12. Because you're always in this game, most of the time you're going to be rolling a quality die anyway. And if I'm in combat, and I can still pick alertness for stuff because I'm sonicking because I'm aware that somebody's around me. Dang it. That's kind of cool. All right, let's go back to archetypes as I figure out where my mouse is again. It's weird because I can see my mouse on the screen, and so I am confused as to where it is. Archetypes. I was the reality shaper, right? There we go. Okay, so you gain now 2 green abilities using 2 different powers. You can't use the same power for both. And I'll bring this page up. So I could do negative likelihood, hinder using power. That's kind of fun. Not quite right is a reaction roll. So after a dice pool is rolled, adjust 1 die up or down by 1 value on the die. That works with Reality Shaper. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Probability Insight, boost using your max die. If you roll doubles, you may also attack using your mid die. I like that. Warp Space goes with teleportation. You may move the target of that attack anywhere nearby. If the target goes next, you decide who takes the next turn after that. Ooh, I like that. Oh, we're doing that. Okay. So we're going to go to, let me bring the sheet up. We're going to go to Warp Space. That is an action. Okay, so attack using teleport. I'm going to make this a 9 so I get everything in. Attack using teleport, use max die. I'm just going to shorthand it. Use max die. If you roll doubles, you may also attack anywhere else nearby. That really works with teleportation, doesn't it? If the target goes next, you choose next in order. So in Sentinel Comics RPG, there's no initiative tracker. So the GM chooses the first person to go according to the narrative structure. And then after that, everybody who goes decides who goes next. So this basically lets you choose 2 things. That's kind of cool, actually. Okay, and then I get 1 more of the green things, and I think, excuse me, I think I'm going to do not quite right. That's a reaction. And so after dice pull, adjust 1 die up or down. Adjust the die, 1 die up or down 1. Now, why would you do that? So when you're in Sentinel Comics, you are rolling dice from your current status, red, yellow, or green, your quality that you're using to work with the power, and your power dice. So that's why I'm assigning dice to all these things. You don't add up all the dice. Let me go to my main list and explain this. You don't add up all the dice unless you are told to by an ability. And even then, you're not doing all of the dice. You're essentially focusing on that mid die because that's where most of your basic actions are going to be impacting people. And so if you're rolling like a D6, a D12, and a D10, and you get I'm trying to figure out why you would want to do this, because you want to keep that mid die high. So if you're trying to boost the mid die to a value, you might lower one to make it the mid, and then make a slightly different one. It's a little bit weird. I'm trying to figure out why you do it. Most of the times you just put it up, unless you're trying not to, because sometimes the abilities can actually hinder your allies if you really like explode. Maybe you want to like reduce the damage that you're doing to people by one. I don't know. It's a little weird. But I like the idea and I want to play with it. So that's what I'm doing. Going back to the book, you also get a yellow thing. One of them, alternative outcomes or alternate outcome. Nearby enemy rolls their dice pool. You may lose one health to re-roll their entire pool. That seems overpowered. Helpful analysis. One nearby enemy or ally may re-roll their dice pool. You lose health equal to the min die of the new roll. That's kind of fun. Never happened. When a nearby enemy would create a bonus or penalty, you may remove it immediately. That's really overpowered. You may apply a bonus to a roll after rolling instead of before. Huh. I'm going to do never happened. I like never happened. I got a lot of reactions. But that's actually how that's all set up. All the yellow abilities are a reaction. So when a by enemy creates a bonus or penalty, you may immediately. Yay! I don't know if you guys can hear the music from across the way. That's kind of cool. A lot of abilities will actually allow you to throw out a hindrance to a target, and so this essentially, if a villain comes up after me and goes, you'll be like, yeah, that never happened, and then I'm rolling at full strength the next roll. So that's actually kind of cool. I like that. So now I have to choose an expertise principle. So principles have different categories. So this is where my second principle is coming from. And I did. Where are principles? Okay. Principles on page. Sorry about this, guys. Okay, I'm just going to there. So principles and expertise principle. I'm just looking for my expertise. Responsibility. Boom, boom, boom. This is expertise principles. There we go. So I can do principle of clockwork, principle of the gearhead, principle of history, principle of indestructible. Again, this blank slate is coming at me here. Let me bring up the book here. So principle of history is during roleplay, you may have contacts and references in the archaeological, historical, and anthropological fields. So maybe this guy just woke up one day and he's been like hanging out with people trying to help him out, and so they remember who he is, or they remember who he is since he appeared. Principle of history. Oh no, I don't want to write that all out. I just have it up there. Principle of history. Okay, cool. Let me get the text, and I'll bring up the sheet. Hopefully it copies it all. Been having some problems with that. Let me bring my sheet up so you can see what I'm doing here. So during role play, so he's got folks he can always know the general state of... No, that got the wrong one again. Why do I keep doing that? Principle of history, not the gearhead. I do kind of know what I'm doing. But again, this is taking longer because I'm making errors because I'm showing it to all of you and have multiple things open. And also, this is the first time I've actually done this with somebody else. This is only the second time I've made something. So, principle of history, how did your old timiness cause an issue? So maybe this guy's a little bit out of time, or he acts like he's out of time. Have you ever seen Blast from the Past, where they're in the bunker and the guy comes out and, he's acting like 30 years earlier. Maybe that's what he's like, because he was in suspended animation for like 30 years, and so he just talks funny, but doesn't remember where he was. It's just his speech patterns are from there. I kind of like that. And then he gets this green ability here. Let me go to the book here. So he's got the principle of history. He can overcome a situation involving archaeology, history, or puzzle solving and use your max die. You and each of your allies can gain a hero point. So that's kind of fun. Let me get my sheet back up here. There we go. The Stream Deck is invaluable. And that is an action. Yes. Let's go. Where's my mouse? There it is. Again, I can still see it on the screen. See, that's screwing things up. That's what's going on. History. Or puzzle solving. See how that happens? And overcome here is not just kind of like you're overcoming. It's literally an action inside the game. It's actually for any obstacle. Situation involving archaeology, history, and we'll make it 9 points so I can get the whole thing in. And use your max die. Hero points are kind of like experience points, but not quite. Let me have a sip. Armageddon Brewing. It is the hard honey apple cider. It's very good. So there we go with the expertise principle. Archetypes again. I don't want to. I'm scrolling through the whole thing, and I can just go from here and click on the main thing. Reality Shaper. There we go. So I get to roll 10 and 10 for my personality selection. So 2d10 for the personality selection. Now let's go over here to my dice. Bring my dice up. We'll clear the table. Let's roll 2d10s. Yay! So I can do a 6, a 2, or an 8. Okay. Again, I'm not going to bring the entire thing up because that's just it's a whole page and it's got a lot of stuff on it. I don't want to give stuff away completely. So your personality is going to determine what your status dies are too, which is very, very important. So I can do a 6, a 2, or an 8. So a 2 is a natural leader. That doesn't really fit this guy. 6 is distant. He's not really aloof. 8 is fast talking. I just get the feeling that this guy, maybe he talks really fast in order to hide his own disease, the fact that he doesn't really have memories past wherever he woke up. I kind of like that. So I'm going to go to my sheet and under personality, fast talking. Fast talking is interesting because it now gives you your status dice. So fast talking has the status die. Green is D6. And this is interesting because it goes up. D8 is yellow. And D10 as the red. There we go. And I'm going to go to page 102 and see what's in there. So we get to choose 2 red abilities from the list in the next section. And then here at this point, you're going to be able to do a couple of things. One is you're going to be able to create a quality based on the hero's backstory and assign a D8 to it. So this guy's got a weird backstory. We're going to get to that in a second. You can also assign your out ability. So you can roll your single quality die and increase that penalty by 1. So you're hindering a minion. So let's go to out. Move this over here. Hinder minion or one cool thing is that by reading this book, I finally remembered how to spell lieutenant because I always have to look it up. By rolling your single, so that's a quality die. I don't know which one I'm going to pick yet, so I'm just putting that in there. And increase the penalty by -1. That's an odd lingo, isn't it? There we go. And I have no idea if anybody's chatting because I think the chat is broken here in my thing. Let me put it up. Oh, yeah, look at that. I got people talking. No chat ninja. Yeah, thank you. OBS should have chat, and it really does. I don't think I've done the YouTube without some kind of stream helper. I texted him. He's not looking at that either. Sorry. Are you guys talking? So, Wes, we can't see chat. No, you cannot see chat. Sorry. And I also didn't have my thing up. There's a lot going on here. It's not complicated as I'm looking at stuff. The character creation process is involved because you're essentially building the narrative of your character. So it's just really going step to step to step and then putting dice in. As soon as you start rolling dice, it's really straightforward. I really like it, but it will take time to get used to the character creation process. Because essentially you are building the character story as you fill out the thing. And chat is not working inside OBS, which is really ticking me off. I don't like that at all. Is Chat Ninja even showing anything? Nope, nothing showing. So I have not seen all your chats all day. But thank you guys for watching. I guess I should have been doing that beforehand. So I like that. And I want to pick my quality now as to what I'm going on. So let me get over here. So what quality do you want to do for this? Ranged combat. And I'm going to say that he's using ranged combat. Somehow he uses a sonic ability to do it. And you're basically like throwing a flechette at him or something that slows him down. I kind of like that. Now we get to do my D8 quality. So here's the thing. What should I do here? The goal is to be, I'm going to try to bring the chat up again. So the goal is to be as specific as possible. You don't want to be general. And so he's kind of a blank slate. He's a fast talker. So I'm just trying to figure out what would be a good quality that would work with him. Really pondering this. Alert, lightning calculator. And he's got investigation already. Maybe something that builds up his personality is fast talking. Persuasion, persuasive. I like that. And we get to assign a D8 to it. There we go. Okay. I'm going to go back to the guided method steps here. Bring the book up. So yeah, it's everything that goes around. And now I get to choose 2 red abilities, which that's the next thing that I have to do. So we're going to do the red abilities. No, I will show this page really quick. So, I just get to choose 2. So let me go to just the sheet so I'm not showing off the entire book here because I don't want to, again, I don't want to get a copyright strike. So you have to pick something that works from one of your powers. So if I have an athletic power, which I do believe that I do, as I'm looking up at my powers, lightning calculator, sonic transmitter, I don't actually. I do have elemental energy powers, so I could do a powerful strike using my mid and max die. I kind of like that. That's what I'm going to do. That's going to be my red power. So powerful strike. Action. Why is it not? Plus max. There we go. Capitalize that. And I'll say it's going to be Sonic. There we go. And that's it. Cool. No, it's not blast, it's attack. There we go. And now I've got like movement. Or a mutate. Ooh. Ooh. So I do have transmutation, so I can do an impenetrable defense. And I think I'm going to do that. I like that. Because red is when things are getting really, really desperate. Impenetrable defense, that is also an action. And you defend using transmutation. Min plus max. And it's until next turn. There we go. Defend all attacks using transmutation, min plus max, until next turn. There we go. Go back to the book. We're going to go back to the guided method. So we are now at step 6. So I can add an extra red ability, swap 2 dice in my powers and or qualities, swap an ability with a different power or quality, increase your red die status by 1 to a maximum of 12, and any D6 power or quality of your choice. And I'm just going to make this easy because I want that powerful strike to be really, really powerful. So my red die is going to go up to a D12, and I will roll a 1 every time. Everybody knows this. Let's see if anybody's still in chat. Yay! Dave. Hi, Dave. What is that? That's a weird icon. Blech. So, okay. Is he vomiting because you don't like the system? I like the system, so hush. And then you get health. So this is the one that I don't like. It's so weird. So add up the following numbers. 8, yes, plus the maximum of your red status die, so that's 20. The maximum choice of any of your athletic power or mental quality. I have alerts, the 12, so 20, 32. The result of rolling a D8. Let's roll the D8, or you can take a 4 if you don't like the roll. So let's bring the dice up. So I was at 32 plus a D8, right? Oh, 40. Well, that's really nice. Go back to preview, please. So my health is 40. Preview. Thank you. Health is 40. One thing I don't like on the sheet is it doesn't put a maximum. Now, after you do that, you have to figure out what your red-green zones are, because your personal zone will change as you lose health. So for 40, it's 40 to 30. 30. For yellow, it is 29 to 15. And for red's 14 to 1. And that's the character right there, except I need to put in like his name and things like that, and his costume equipment and build, but all the other stuff is out. So I think for hero name, I'm going to call him Blink. He's fast talking, and he teleports, and he's got lightning powers. So hero name is Blink, alias of course, he's a John because he's a blank slate. John Wannabow. I don't know. Maybe he heard wannabe and that's the way he pronounced it. Then I got to put in gender, age, height, all that sort of stuff. But essentially, the character's done. And again, yeah, it's an involved blip, Jonas. Um, it's an involved process. It really is. Uh, but I know how I want to role play this character because I've gone through the process. And I kind of like that, to tell you the truth. One of the things that always annoyed me in like 5e character creation, which I think is also a really involved process, which just annoyed me. As you get to the end, is here's your background, and like, well, how am I supposed to use that? It's not tied into literally anything I've done up to this point. Here, it's built into everything. Like as you're going through it, so we'll go, how are these things going to work together? It really encourages you in that character development process as you're going through it. Uh, I really, I appreciate that. I like it. It's something that I think I can really get into. And even if I'm not doing it for a game, I this is a really cool way to make a character for like a story, because I literally have thoughts about his backstory at this point and what's going on. So it's really kind of cool. Um, so thanks for folks who are watching. I didn't know if I would have anybody on. So thank you, Dave and Justin, for actually looking through. It is very involved, like I said. Um, the more you get used to it, I think the better it'll be. The real headache at this point is just the page flipping. And the fact that I was trying to juggle a dice rolling app, two preview windows, and OBS, and look at chat at the same time really made this last a lot longer than it would normally, because I think I did this in about 20 minutes beforehand, and that was the first time I was doing it. But really kind of cool. It gives me old school post-traumatic feels. Really, you think it's got an old school feel, Dave? I just I don't I don't get that impression from this game, because you're really powerful in this game. Just the rolls are, it's really hard to screw up. And all your attacks automatically hit too. Um, but also, even though you're randomly doing things, everything's you essentially every roll is going to generate a sequence of numbers that you can choose from. And that's one of the things that I thought was really impressive in the game, is that when you do a random roll, you get this list of options that you can use. You're not stuck to just one. And I did the guided process. You actually, the alternate one is to just pick what you want and just go through. So you don't even have to do the random process with that. I just wanted to do it for fun. So it doesn't give me an old school vibe for that. I don't know if you were able to see the review. The mechanics definitely are not old school at all. It's pretty much the opposite of that. Referring to tables and percentages, it gives me those feels. Well, you're not going to refer to the tables at all after you roll. There's two tables that you have to pay attention to when you're playing. One is the overcome response, and oh gosh, there's one other table that's literally on the GM screen that you have to pay attention to, and then you just have your health die for where you're going through, and then you do have the tracker for the timing the scene through the turn. So there's some paperwork. I actually think the worst paperwork that you have to keep track of in the game is keep track of the villains, because they have a two-page sheet like the characters do, which feels more like, from what I hear, it's more like 3.5 or 3.0 version of D&D. But it's something I really want to give a try to. And I like the feel, and I like the way that characters get fleshed out as you build. And again, you don't have to use the tables to generate the character. You can just pick. I want this, and then I'm going to go to here and roll these dice, and I'll go over here. Not a problem. Or I'll assign these dice over here. Not a problem. So it's kind of cool. And Dave, thank you so much for watching. And Justin, thank you so much for watching. It really makes me pleased that someone actually showed up to watch this when it was like a 20-minute warning. Cool. I don't think the game is old school, but the character creation gave me those feels. It feels Traveler-like. I actually think John, when he did his review, that's something that he went through, So it does feel Traveler like. But, and I think this is because I actually went through the Traveler creation process in my review. Um, by the first time I encountered the Traveler process, I hated it. I was like, what an, like, this would take like an hour. What am I doing? And then when I finally read like the whole book and got through how the process is supposed to work, I was like, this is so cool, because by the time you get done to the end, you've got a character who's got things like contacts and a history of their employment and maybe like an enemy that you've developed. And so that's really kind of cool. And that's what this process gives me a vibe of. By the time I get done, I know this character a little bit. That's how they're going to function. So really kind of fun. Um, I have no idea if I'm going to be able to do the fourth review for Supervember next week. I am reading through Advanced Phase Rip right now. It's an interesting take on Phase Rip, which is the old Marvel superheroes game from the 80s, which I have very fond memories of. But it's very much, you can tell it's a one person show. It needs a little bit of more editing. I do like some of the tweaks that they did. But it's going to be something that I need to pour myself into to kind of get through. Um, so that's going to be fun. I also have a couple videos to do because someone asked me to submit a short video to make as part of one of their videos. That's the first time I've ever gotten through that, which I might actually have to do tonight. And I do want to do my latest random thoughts to come out. So I got a couple things that are going to be coming out. This might be my last Supervember video, though. We'll see if I can get to something earlier next week, if I can actually get through reading, but I've got a lot going on. But it's been a fun month, and I'm very glad for folks to hang out. We'll make this public for everybody tomorrow. Sorry it took so long and that I was making so many errors as I was looking for my mouse on this insane desktop. I have two screens going with multiple windows. It's driving me crazy, and you can watch your mouse move inside the actual preview in OBS, which is also fun. And yeah, Dave, I'll be joining you in Avenue Studios to watch their DC 20 stream in just a second. So, listen, everybody, have a great night. I have had an absolute blast, and I'm glad that you were watching. And hopefully, folks can look at this interesting game because it's really, really cool. Until we see each other again, folks, happy playing, everyone.